Alex Pereira has once again stunned the world with his latest performance.
Went right at him.
Right hand.
Boom! Oh. Just rocked him with that right hand.
Oh my God.
Ankalaev reaching for him. Let's see it again.
You
Boom.
can't get hit like this by this guy, man.
No, not by this guy.
And then he dives, and it was over. And then they make the 12-6 elbow legal.
Yeah.
Oh
right.
My God.
12-6 elbows legal.
They
again.
make the 12-6
That's
elbow legal.
That this guy.
Watch the one to the body, though. Please show the one to the body.
Oh, he hit them all.
Oh my God, he had one. He had one. Look at this.
Yeah, look at it. Deep into the
just
ribs.
to the body. That sucks so bad. Magomed had no chance. There was no way he was going to get out of that.
Just destroyed.
Then he does that same
thing.
That's so crazy, dude.
This dude's cold-blooded.
And guess what?
Alex, you are back to being the champion. The belt is once again around your waist. But before we even talk about the fight, you're walking in a boot. We noticed that you were adjusting your foot inside the octagon. What really is going on there? And was this something before the fight, or did it happen in the fight?
Yeah, I think this time it broke for sure. It started turning purple super quickly. But, when I was throwing those low kicks, I saw that they were landing. He changed his stances after the third kick, which is something that he didn't do in the last fight. It's something that I saw Jan Blachowicz did to him in the fight too. But as soon as I landed the first kick to his lead leg, I felt my foot.
And you were aggressive really from the first moment on. Was the approach to go right at him, or was that something that you saw opening up for you in the fight?
That was the plan in the first fight. I wanted to go up and be aggressive. I told everyone I wasn't feeling well. I'll talk about that a little bit later. But I felt it that it was going to happen. Even this morning we went to breakfast at Bagel-Mania, and we saw one of the guys from Power Slap who we saw last time on fight day as well. He had just lost that night, and today he was there and he just won. So I thought to myself, man, last time he had lost, I lost, now he won. So everything is coming together.
You're gonna have. Do things feel different? You've won the title before. You've been the champion in 2 divisions. Is something else happening here?
To make all those around me happy, all my fans. I feel all the love at the press conference. The fans won't even let my opponent talk. So I feel that, and I want to give people joy. And even in Brazil, sometimes people will say, oh, I wasn't watching the UFC anymore until you came and stuff. So I feel it, and I want to give back to those people.
Well, you're certainly doing that, Alex. Now comes the part of my job that I have to do. That's always difficult because you just won the title once again, and we're already asking you about your next fight. But I talked to Carlos Ulberg and I talked to Yuri Prochazka after your fight. They both believe they're next in line. They both have their reasonings for it. If you get to play matchmaker as the champion, when do you fight, and who is your opponent?
Like I said up there, I had a whole speech prepared, but we all know what happened to Jon Jones' brother. So it's not even right to talk about that, and we'll talk about that later. But I think I want to...
The Brazilian powerhouse has reclaimed his light heavyweight crown in devastating fashion, delivering one of the scariest knockouts of 2025 against Magomed Ankalaev. This wasn't some drawn-out battle, it was sheer violence from the opening bell. Pereira walked in with his trademark icy stare, calm but dangerous, and wasted no time feeling things out. The moment Ankalaev stepped forward, Pereira unleashed a thunderous right hand that sent him crashing to the canvas. Within seconds, the fight was finished.
Seems like he could really be the face of this organization at this point.
Yeah, people love him. People love the way he fights, and can't be bummed out with the way he performed this evening, so...
He seemed to tease that maybe he was going to call for a Jon Jones fight, but then kind of pulled it back after, learning about Arthur. Is him going to heavyweight something you would entertain at this point?
So today I was at work and had a bunch of meetings over there this afternoon, and I went over to the PI, and he was over in the PI. And I'm like, well, you're the last guy I expected to see here today. What are you doing here? And they're telling me, we want to fight at heavyweight. I said, how about we win tonight and focus on tonight, and then we could talk about, heavyweight. And I don't know. There's still fights here in this division, but we'll see. I mean, this guy has been an absolute stud for us. He's on vacation in Australia, flies over and fights because, somebody fell out. He fights when he's hurt. He doesn't care. He wants to fight everybody. He wants to move up to heavyweight. You know,
any sport, the Lakers, the Celtics, any way that you want to do it. You do not lose to somebody and 5 months later flip the script this overwhelmingly. He believed in himself. And by the way, I was irritated with one thing, which is I didn't feel that Pierre was calling for this fight. I didn't see it. I spoke to Dana White yesterday. He said, Chael, that was only publicly. Behind the scenes, he was demanding this fight. He didn't think he was himself. He didn't want to make excuses, but he wanted the rematch. And yes, to your question, I believe it now.
He had a lot of losses in kickboxing and never made one, but for some reason he chose this time to make one. I don't know why. I believed him, and I think he proved. I think he proved himself right that he wasn't 100%, and he looked incredible tonight.
Yeah, incredible is the right word. And I was expecting a little bit of a different version, of course, but the way that he almost ran out of his corner, and I think back to the year that he had in 2024. Then he loses in March, and you're kind of wondering where does he go from here. This just completely throws him back into that aura that he was in 2024. I think he's a bigger star. Definitely a bigger star.
I love that you brought that up. I mean, him and O'Malley have been bouncing back who the biggest star is, right? I'm taking Conor out because he's not currently licensed, but just to share with you, this fight was not the most anticipated fight of 2025, but I will tell you, coming out of this arena, I have had the great pleasure of standing here for 7 years with ESPN. I have never heard an arena the way that I heard them tonight. I have never heard a reaction. By the way, he got praised when he came in. They were booing Ankalaev. I mean, they got the fans. He's got this guy eating out of their hands. He's 37 years old. He's a middleweight, by the way. He's not any bigger now than when he was the middleweight champion. I'm still big on the idea of eventually seeing him at heavyweight. I gotta tell you, I'm drinking the Kool-Aid, and I am very high on Pereira right now.
The referee jumped in, and just like that, it was over. Pereira was back on top, and the MMA world exploded. Fans, fighters, and analysts alike are calling this one of his most dominant performances ever. Pereira doesn't just fight, he erupts like a volcano. Every strike he throws looks like it could end a career. But make no mistake, this fight was about more than just the belt. It was about redemption. In their first meeting, Ankalaev ground out a win by slowing Pereira down and taking away his striking rhythm. This time, Pereira flipped the script. No patience, no hesitation, just cold, calculated aggression. He knew exactly what Ankalaev wanted to do. Control the range, drag things into a slow, grinding fight, and mix in wrestling. Pereira never let him. From the start, he cut off the cage, battered him with leg kicks to keep him on the back foot, and then timed the perfect shot that changed everything.
For one whole round and then a little bit of the second. And I felt like if I went back and did that again, I feel like I would do it differently. He had 25 minutes of content with the educated striking game that he has. I wasn't surprised that he pushed him back. I was surprised that he ran into the fire like that because he usually kind of starts slow.
They're now 1-1. If we were to accept what happened in the previous fight, we would be discussing a trilogy. We're not. We're even looking at Prohaska, who's 0-2. Who got beat up for 2 rounds tonight. We're discussing that he goes in. The reason I share that, while we did not ask for this fight, Dana White said, I want the 2 right guys to fight. These are the 2 right guys. Dana himself saw something that he thought perhaps wasn't right, and we get this rematch, and all of a sudden, Pierre goes out and delivers what he says. As the older fighter, I can't tell you a time off the top of my head where an older fighter came back and beat a younger fighter.
He could be a 3-division world champion for the first
God.
time. And it's, look, Tom Aspinall is a large obstacle.
That's a big
That's a giant man that is never going to make middleweight, never going to make light heavyweight. Right. That is a true heavyweight.
Tom Aspinall couldn't make 225.
No.
He's huge.
Yeah.
Because he's ripped at 255. Yeah, so
that's a real heavyweight.
I'd like to see him fight again at 205. I got to be honest, man. I kind of like the guy that dominates a little bit, especially when it looks like that.
When it looks like that, I mean, that was revenge.
Well, Yuri Prohaska has fought Alex Pereira twice. So in our fighter meeting, when we talk about Ankalaev, that would have been a fresh matchup, whereas Carlos Ulberg has not fought him, so maybe he has the inside lane.
Well, Ulberg versus Yuri for an eliminator.
Or for a vacant belt if
Peloton's
doing his
if
thing,
Peloton decides to go up, look, he's 38 years old, too. At a certain point in time, he's going to be done with this. And it's not, we got to appreciate him now. Because he doesn't have 10 years left. I mean, it's just, heavyweights can fight a little longer, but, 41, 40.
Hey, man, let me tell you something. Fighting in there at 41, it ain't fun. It ain't fun at 41. I'm telling you, I don't care how good you are.
But, we said a year ago when we talked about Pereira, he's only been in the UFC 3 years, and now we sit here. He still has less than 4 years on the roster.
It's nuts.
Alex Pereira walks down and viciously TKOs Magomed Ankalaev in their rematch in the main event of UFC 320. He didn't just finish him in round 1, he finished him in 1 minute. Absolutely amazing performance from Alex Pereira. Sham, I'm so happy we get to live in this timeline where Alex Pereira rids us of that goblin giant gnome. I don't know how to express how happy I am to be wrong. I watched Ankalaev get the win over Alex Pereira in the first fight, and now I've seen this, and I've never been happier to be incorrect on a prediction. Alex Pereira made it look easy. And when I tell you, he walked down Ankalaev, and Ankalaev looked like he'd seen a ghost from the opening bell, and he was thinking, this isn't the Alex Pereira from the first time we fought. This isn't the Alex Pereira backing up on the back foot, looking to tap away at low kicks and chip away at me. Alex Pereira genuinely looked like he was twice as big as Ankalaev backed up and cowered away from every exchange. Alex Pereira. I want to talk about the overall performance. I'm just so happy that humanity has prevailed against these goblins, and we don't have to hear about this Dagestani fan base anymore. They're done. Easy victory. He's emoting on him. Look how right the belt looks back around Alex Pereira's waist. Emoting on Magomed Ankalaev, who genuinely got wobbled by a right overhand, shot in, panicked, shot into a takedown, curled up in a ball on the ground like Anthony Smith in his prime, and got hit over and over and over again. Some really dumb comments are saying early stoppage because he wasn't out cold. Ankalaev genuinely curled up in a ball and ate about 20 follow-up shots without doing anything about it, waiting for Herb Dean to step in and save him. Alex Pereira turns him into 12-6 elbows. We got to talk about the overall performance though, because this means a lot.
The power, the precision, the calm. That's what makes Alex Pereira unlike anyone else in the division. He's not just winning fights, he's dismantling elite opponents with frightening efficiency. Now the big question looms. What's next for Alex Pereira?
I'm going to go through what happened in the very short minute of the fight. I'm also going to go over what's next, because if you're a real fight fan, you know what the fight of the era is that we need to see. Alex Pereira's got to move up. If Tom Aspinall defeats Cyril Gane at UFC 321, by KO in the first round as well, just to add some extra hype, Alex Pereira's got to move up to heavyweight and try for a third belt at the White House in 2026. Him versus Tom Aspinall. Tom Aspinall versus Alex Pereira at the White House, June 2026, International Fight Week. Third belt for Alex Pereira on the line. Potential GOAT status for Alex Pereira on the line as well. Tom Aspinall gets the super fight. This is the fight of the modern era of combat sports. Alex Pereira's the real.
Did you know you were going to fight him as aggressively as you did because of how injured you were in the first fight and how you wanted to correct that in the second fight? Or did you just get in there and feel the emotions of the moment?
Não, isso tudo faz parte do plano. Algumas semanas atrás, o Glover deu entrevista e avisou. Falou, pô, a Tamba vai diferente. Primeiro round, vocês já vão ver com essa convicção. Mas ninguém acreditou.
No, that was all part of the plan. And Glover even did an interview and he said, you guys are going to see the difference in the first round. So it was all planned out.
You were very good for the most part during the lead up to this to not taking some of the words said by him or whoever was saying it for him and the personal attacks that were made on him. But realistically, how much of a grudge did you hold against him for those words?
Todo momento. Algumas vezes, igual quando eu falei pro Dana White, pergunta pro Dana White e tal, que o Dana White foi e falou, pô, esse cara nunca negou luta pra mim, né? Nunca falou não. Não importa que tá viajando, não tá lesionado, e eu sempre fiz isso, então isso acho que foi o que fiquei mais assim, sabe, nas palavras dele. E falando também, tipo, pô, da borracharia, queria voltar pra borracharia. Então, tipo, ele tava tentando falar algo pra se promover, porque se ele não falasse isso, não falasse no meu nome, ele não conseguia chamar a atenção de ninguém.
Don't let it really affect me, you know, and that's why I even said, you know, ask Dana in the press conference how many times I turned down a fight, and Dana said he's never turned down a fight, even when he's traveling on vacation, whatever it was. But he said a lot of things that I was going to go back and work at a tire shop, and just a lot of things through this whole time that he shouldn't have said.
So I was going to ask you, in the face-off, you were caught on camera saying, I don't want to go back to the tire shop. Obviously, the people who followed your story understand the significance of that. But for those who don't, what is the significance behind those words, and why did you feel you had to tell him that at that moment?
Para me lembrar depois, né, eu joguei um pouco de responsabilidade, né, para mim mesmo, né, que eu ia lembrar disso, que eu já falei algumas vezes antes, né, me perguntaram, né, pô, como que você conseguiu ser esse cara que você é hoje e tal, eu falei, pô, eu não tinha um plano B, eu tinha que lutar, e eu falava que eu não queria voltar pra borracharia. Então eu repeti essa mesma frase para ele para lembrar que eu não queria voltar pra borracharia.
I wanted to remind myself of that. I wanted me to remember that moment and kind of put that responsibility on me of not wanting to go back to the tire shop, because a lot of people ask, how'd you make it from, the tire shop to being a world champion? And it's what I've told myself all along, that I wasn't going to go back to that. So I wanted to remember that.
Mas eu vou pro Brasil e eu vou voltar na borracharia. Mas com esse cinturão aqui, ó.
But I'm going to go to Brazil and I'm going to go to the tire shop, but I'm taking this belt right here.
Some fans are already calling for a trilogy fight with Ankalaev, but after the way Pereira just demolished him, that might feel unnecessary. Others believe Pereira is destined for something bigger, literally. A move up to heavyweight, imagine that. The same man who once ruled middleweight now chasing history by trying to conquer the biggest division in the sport.
Not only does he emote on Ankalaev afterwards and treat him like it was a walk in the park. A walk in the park. Let's talk about what really happened here. He started the fight and he's going inside low kick. Something that he did not do once or that much in the first fight between them. So you know what? The narrative from Pereira was, I was injured the first fight. That was the worst version of me that's ever showed up. And I was thinking, that's what all fighters say though. They're not just going to admit that the other guy's way better than them. So I was thinking, all right, Alex Pereira, these are excuses, but they were definitely legitimate excuses, because he went shin to shin with Ankalaev, like Jan Blachowicz did. Remember, Ankalaev's a southpaw, as he is in this stance here. And what you may notice is, he's not a southpaw here. And that's what it came down to. In the last fight, Ankalaev could remain southpaw for nearly the entire time. That's where he's comfortable. And that's what gives Alex Pereira problems. And Pereira was trying to do lead low kicks on Ankalaev's calf, and they weren't having nearly as much of an effect. Jan Blachowicz went shin to shin with Ankalaev and gave him a ton of problems.
They're all there behind the cage, just staring, just looking, all being very, very serious and very scary and very intimidating. Well, it obviously worked, because Magomed Ankalaev just got flatlined, smoked, destroyed, beaten in 1 minute, 20 seconds. Now, all the talk of him coming in at 40%, maybe there was a little truth to that. I mean, we did talk about him being a little burnt out. We did talk about the schedule that he was on, which was kind of crazy. And certainly it looked like it did catch up to him in his last fight against Magomed Ankalaev. But he was right. There isn't going to be a third match. There isn't going to be a rubber match. Absolutely no way. Alex Pereira now is going to go into new challenges. If Magomed made it competitive, then maybe there would have been a talk of a third match. But it wasn't competitive. It was completely one-sided. It was one of the most vicious beatdowns we've ever seen. Alex Pereira now is a 3-time UFC champion. No UFC champion has ever lost a belt like that and then came back and got it in quick fashion and made it that easy. No champion's ever done that before, losing the belt and coming back again like that. And then when you look here at the record of Alex Pereira and what he's achieved, Joe Rogan and DC, they were talking about this all night, but it is insane.
Imagine it. Pereira versus Tom Aspinall. Pereira versus Jon Jones. These are the fights that would shake the sport to its core. And for Ankalaev, this one hurts.
Oi! Oh! Take your time. Yep. Find your shots. Find your shots. Damn! That's all he had to do, guys. That's all he had to do the first time they fought. Alex Pereira to give him an opportunity to actually get into the fight. Ta-da! 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 He's getting kicked. Fraud checked? Oh, come on, boys. Stop with the fraud check. He finished it too early for my parlay. Sorry. That was probably the shortest title reign. No, I think GSP. I think Matt Serra was. Chama's back, boys. Chama's back. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I would fight Yuri Prochazka, then fight maybe the winner of Sorgan and Tom Aspinall and be done.
He went from champion to unconscious in under 2 minutes. But let's be clear, Magomed Ankalaev is no slouch. He's one of the toughest, most well-rounded fighters in the UFC. He'll be back. But now he knows exactly what it means to stand across from Poatan. Against Alex Pereira, you don't get second chances. One mistake is all it takes, and your night is over. Right now, the MMA community can't stop buzzing. Some are calling Pereira the scariest striker in UFC history. Others argue he's already secured a place among the top 5 pound-for-pound fighters of all time. From middleweight dominance to conquering light heavyweight, Pereira is rewriting UFC history in real time. If tonight proved anything, it's this. Alex Pereira isn't just a fighter. He's a destroyer, and everyone at 205 should be terrified of what comes next.